I'm very pleased to be joined on the line right now by Kevin Webster, who is the manager of domestic events for Hockey Canada. Kevin, thanks so much for taking the time to chat.
Yeah, no problem, Brian. Thanks for having me.
So I noticed that there's an application and a job description on the Canadian Junior Hockey League website for a Team Canada general manager and coach for the 2011 World Junior A Challenge. What's the thinking behind having that posted before the 2010 tournament's even over?
Well, we normally post. In the past we've posted just shortly after, and in discussions with the Junior A leagues this year, we wanted to have it out before with a deadline just shortly after. So as coaches and GMs are watching the event, that it's top of mind. They get to see the level of hockey it is, and hopefully, coming out of the event, if they have questions from this year's staff, that they're going to reach out to them and get engaged. As we've really been pushing the last couple of years to make this opportunity available for coaches throughout Canada, so hopefully by tying it closer to the event, we get a little more awareness.
And what I saw posted on the website there, is that an application for both Canada East and West?
Yeah, that's correct. We're going to hire both positions. Ideally, we'd like to hire both general managers so that they can attend the CJHL prospects game in mid-December in Winkler, and then coming from that, the general managers would also be involved there, and coaches. So.
Now, when it comes to this process, I know that it has application for both there. What is Hockey Canada looking for in a candidate for that position, or either one?
Well, general manager position is going to be the guy that basically builds the roster. They need to be out and able to scout the 5 leagues that are involved in either East or West, and have a really good pulse on the league that they're in. The head coach is going to be more about the systems, X and O's, and as well as working closely with the general manager to, let them know what kind of team they want to have on the ice when it comes to this event next November.
Now, with the situation of a GM having to be able to scout the 5 Junior A leagues that they're going to be responsible, whether it's West or East, is that safe to say that it's probably more suited for someone who's a general manager's role with their own Junior A club and not necessarily a dual coach GM?
Yeah, I mean, we've done it both ways. Definitely the time commitment is probably easier to manage for someone that's just a sole general manager, but there's not a lot of them out there. So, we work with people that are in current dual roles to augment them. Like this year, we've had a head scout with Canada West as well, and Leonard Strandberg's done a lot of that scouting the other leagues. He was a former GM of the Canada West team, so he's got a good idea what it's all about. And then he relays the information to our general manager, who's Ryland First this year, and the two of them make a lot of the decisions together. So depending on the person, we want the best person for the job, and depending on that person's commitments with their own club, then we work to augment them with the right staff around them to get the job done.
And how important is it to Hockey Canada to have previous experience with this tournament in someone applying for the jobs? Because it seems like there is a bit of continuity there from year to year.
Yeah, some of that continuity is quite honestly come from the lack of applicants. There hasn't been a lot of interest over the last few years, and the event's only 5 years old this year, so we do want to have turnover as we do want to have this event be an opportunity for anyone coaching or managing in Junior A hockey. So unless we have turnover, it's not going to look that way. So we're hoping for more applicants so that it makes our decisions tougher. And if there are some coaches that have been involved this year, like an Andrew Milne or a Barry Wolf that are involved for the first time, and they're interested, then definitely they would continue to be considered as we work through sort of a transition phase from year to year to get new people involved.
Has there been some brainstorming as to why maybe there hasn't been a whole lot of interest in being involved with the Junior A Challenge on either Canada East or West?
I think a part of it is just it's so new, and a lot of coaches aren't aware of the opportunities, and also just aren't sure exactly what the event's all about. So I think as we've moved around Canada now in 4 different locations, and this being the 5th this year, that a lot more people are starting to understand what's involved and get interested. We've also the last 2 years held full evaluation camps in advance, where we've been able to involve some outside coaches as well as evaluators. This year we were able to work with Darren Yopik and Fred Harbinson to help us out, as well as the visa assistant coaches here in Penticton, so some more people get involved in the program and get to see what it's all about.
Now, as a spokesperson for Hockey Canada, what do you feel are some of the benefits for a coach / GM getting involved with Hockey Canada, Canada West or East?
Well, I mean, I think the best opinion would come from someone that's been involved, but I know in talking to the coaches, it's an opportunity of a lifetime and something that, they truly cherish when they walk away from it. We still have these coaches that have been part of it interested in coming back, and a good example of that's Troy Ryan, who's the GM of Canada East this year. He's been involved in various roles from the beginning, but he's been involved all 5 years, and he doesn't want to stop as he's enjoyed it so much. So
I talked to Ryland Furster last week about the makeup of Canada West, and I mean, obviously gold is the goal for any team in Canada when you're putting together, whether it's coaching staff right down to the players, but it's also growing the game, something that Hockey Canada is dedicated to doing with this Junior A Challenge?
I think that was one of the main reasons we started this, and when we say growing the game, obviously for young kids to see, these players in a Canadian jersey is a big part of that, to want them to play the game and aspire to be at this level, but even more so growing the Junior A game and giving the Junior A players an opportunity to compete on an international stage, which they didn't have before. And I think if we look just back at the short history of this event and some of the great players that have used this as a springboard, and a couple BCHL players come to mind, and Kyle Turris and Zach Delpy, that both put on their A game when it came to this event, and definitely leaped up in a lot of scouts' minds and gave themselves a great opportunity to continue their hockey career down the road.
And of course, both those guys did play in the NHL this season. Well, Turris has been with the Phoenix Coyotes on and off for the last couple of years, but Dalpe made his debut with Carolina. Do you think that the tournament itself is sort of garnering a little more attention from the pro ranks?
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of years, as we worked through the kinks as to how the rosters are going to work and the teams that were here, we were still getting 60, 70 scouts, and the last 2 years, and including this year, we're going to be well over 100 scouts from the NHL level, and lots from CIS, NCAA, even Canadian Hockey League. They're going to be engaged.
And obviously, like I said, gold is the goal. And when I talked to Ryland, he said that they didn't win the silver last year; they lost the gold. So, I mean, how does the tournament look overall for Hockey Canada if Canada doesn't win a gold?
Well, I think the unfortunate part is we've kept trying to get better teams here every year, and this year with the Swiss team competing, we've increased the level of competition again, and it makes it tougher and tougher on our Canadian teams. But both our staffs are prepared to get back to that gold medal game from the East or West, and I think both of them have a good chance. And they've put everything they can do getting to this point. And now it's up to their teams to get out there and win some games to get them into those semifinals and ideally onto the gold medal game. And I think as long as we know that effort's been put in, that the results sort of look after themselves from there. We can't determine who's in the gold medal game or not, but ideally, yes, for us, it would be two Canadian teams in the final.
All right, Kevin, I appreciate you taking the time to chat here this morning. Before I let you run, anything else that you wanted to add about either the application process for management for next year's Junior A Challenge or this year's tournament?
Interested in applying, I would just suggest to talk to some of the guys that have been involved. There's been people from all leagues that have had an involvement and that can share with you what the experience is all about. And in terms of this year's event, this will probably be the best it's been. So hockey fans should get out and watch. Kicks off on Monday with both Canadian